Ryan Garcia is risking it all against Devin Haney, knuckleheads. And it's a situation where I want to ask you guys and hear from you guys as to whether you think, is it brave or is it stupid? Right? Because we get caught up in this conflict a lot of the time as fight fans. And the conflict is, how come our favorite fighters and the best fighters in boxing aren't fighting each other? Right? And the other side of that is, if they do that, the risk reward is lopsided and they could risk their future payday, opportunities, and everything else. So we look at it from a fan's perspective as, being brave, being courageous, taking on the best guys is an amazing thing. But then we look at it from a business perspective, right? And we say, well, but guys need to fight guys on their level. You need to be careful who you're going in there with, right? And in my opinion, especially coming off their most recent fights, Ryan Garcia, you guys, has huge cojones to be stepping in there against Devin Haney on April 20th, right? And, people get high on April 20th, 420. And the other thing that's really high about this fight is the pay-per-view price, which is apparently going to be $80+. And I say that because I do think that that's part of the reason, obviously, that Ryan Garcia has taken this massive risk. So is it brave? Yes. But we saw the kind of numbers this kid did against Tank Davis, right? And he's probably thinking to himself, this fight could potentially do even more numbers than the Tank Davis fight, considering the history that him and Devin Haney have behind them, where they fought 6 times in the amateurs. They split it 3-3. I will say, though, that history, when put that way, makes the fight appear, especially to the casual fan, I'm sure, a lot closer than what hardcore fans, such as myself, see the odds of this fight being. Make no mistake, knuckleheads. As much money as he's making, and as much as I appreciate him stepping up to take this fight, probably because of all the money that he's going to be making, and maybe that makes him feel like a loss is not that big of a deal, Ryan Garcia, in my opinion, a heavy underdog in this fight, just hasn't looked at the level of a Devin Haney, who went out there in his last fight, let's not forget, and completely schooled Regis Prograis, a guy who was basically the boogeyman for a very long time at 140 pounds. So, I'm looking at this fight and I'm saying to myself, my goodness, Ryan Garcia has sort of created through his social media a Saudi Arabia situation for himself, right? Where he's getting so much money now that he doesn't care who he fights. He doesn't care to preserve his own, right? But is that brave or is that stupid, right? Because what happens if he takes another loss here? Does he lose his luster some more? Does it begin to really start harming the amount of money he could bring in? I think it's something he needs to think about, right? And I'll be honest with you guys, after his last performance against, I believe the gentleman's name was Duarte, who wasn't a world beater by any means, and it wasn't a great performance by Ryan Garcia by any means either. I thought he was kind of struggling in that fight until he got Duarte out of there. After a performance like that, to step in there against an absolutely surging, firing on all cylinders Devin Haney, who just, once again, just completely, dismantled Regis Prograis, just completely washed him. I think that this is a very, very dangerous fight for Ryan Garcia. I don't see him winning this fight. I think he's going to have to do something incredibly drastic, and even then he's going to have to land an incredible punch on this kid, Haney, to be able to win this fight. I do think, knuckleheads, at this point, I think he's only got a puncher's chance. I don't see how he outboxes Devin Haney, a very conservative boxer, a guy that doesn't really take risks. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Is it brave or is it stupid what Ryan Garcia is doing here, right? After you do that, like, share, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to join the channel because Fighters Rep needs your support. And we've got some incredible fights coming up. Fighters Rep 23 on June 1st here in Pompano Beach, Florida, and Fighters Rep 24 on June 8th the following week from the beautiful Commerce Casino in Los Angeles, California. You can get your tickets right now at fightersrep.com. If you can't make it, joining the channel allows you to watch those events live. We will be dropping more content on that. You could also get your merchandise to help us continue to grow the channel. But I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say about Ryan Garcia risking it all in this fight.